Good morning, everybody. It is Monday yet again, another week to look into your success, another week to build your success, another week to build your career. So I hope you're excited as I am to get started today. On Deep Recruiting, what we're going to cover today is your inner game. And then we're going to follow that with breaking the patterns of behavior that end up holding you back. So if this is of interest to you, hopefully we're going to have very exciting and action-packed 10 or 15 minutes, however long it takes to get through this. Then we're going to get you back to your career and your success. Of course, you can always watch this later. We love to hear your comments. We want you to comment, the most important. Give us a rating if you're listening to this on Spotify or iTunes. And of course, share it with your friends. The more people we can grow this to, the more success we can have. A rising tide lifts all boats. And my goal here is to simply make everybody a little bit better at their individual game of recruiting. You can also email us any of your questions at deeprecruiting@teamgtn.com. That email address is in the description. Email us your challenges, your obstacles, your questions about recruiting, and we will do our best to take care of that on the air for you, confidentially, of course. But the more challenging an obstacle you send me, the more excited I'm going to be about covering it live on the air to see if we can come up with a solution. It could be a lot of fun for all of us involved. Now, with your inner game, and again, we're going to follow this up a little bit later here on the podcast with breaking the patterns of behavior that are holding you back. But first, I do want to focus on your inner game. In business, there's really no such thing as an overnight success. Nobody just wakes up one day and they're just banging it in business. I mean, sometimes they do, but they've got that network and connections where they really don't have to work. It's just, hey, I've got all my networking connections and friends out here and I'm starting a business, and bang, they've got the business. Of course, something like that happens. But my guess is you're tuning into this because that's not happening to you and you're trying to grow your specific business. That's okay. That's exciting. We all have to start somewhere. And what we're doing today is we're covering basically the basics. So behind every successful sales professional is a long history of hard work and persistence. Even the people that just flip a switch and they're able to turn it on immediately because of their network, that network is the result of years of work, years of persistence, years of socializing, years of putting them in a position to where they're in the right place with the right people to make it all happen. It just doesn't come out of thin air. Success comes from doing what others simply aren't willing to do. And by that, I mean doing the hard work and the persistence. A lot of people, they just give up. They don't try more than once. They make one phone call. It's like, oh, this is too hard. Or they lift the weight one time, or they eat a salad one time. And it's that consistency and that persistence that delivers you the results. Most people say they want to be successful, but very few are really willing to go that extra mile. I know when I started in sales way back in 1990, everybody wanted to be a success. But you could tell the people that were dedicated by how quickly they left after 5 o'clock. This is back in the day when we had to wear suits and ties to work. But you could literally see, like in cartoons, papers flying up in the air behind them at 5 o'clock and 1 second. They were gone. They were out the door. These are the same people that, why am I not successful? Well, because they really weren't willing to do the work. They were watching the clock instead of watching their production. Doing what most people are not willing to do starts to change the way you think about yourself, and what it takes to succeed in life. It consists of 5 very specific activities that remove the primary obstacles to your success. So if you're wondering what those 5 obstacles are, get your pen and paper out because you're going to want to write this down. Choosing success for yourself. That's one of them. You actually have to make that choice. Well, Jim, that's easy. Of course I'm choosing success for myself, but are you really? Are you really choosing that success? Are you sitting down and making a conscious decision that no matter what, I'm going to be successful? Because it takes that level of commitment. You have to commit. This is number two. You have to commit to the right mindset. That mindset of, I deserve this. The mindset of, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get this. That is a mindset. That mindset will actually change your behavior. You need to, number three, you need to identify and rid yourself of existing patterns of behavior that are holding you back. It's going to be our topic a little bit later today. Number four, you need to set lofty goals for yourself that seem unattainable. But if you just reach far enough, if you stretch far enough, you can actually touch them. Okay. Success comes from whatever willingness we have to do whatever it takes to succeed within, of course, ethical boundaries. If you're not achieving wealth and happiness in your life, well, you only have yourself to blame. It really is all about you. It's never the economy. It's never bad luck. It's never the government. It's never the competition. It's not who's our president. It's not who's your mayor. It's not anything to do with city ordinances. It's not your company. It's you. You're making the decision to not change what needs to change in order for you to achieve the success you claim you want. 94% of rich people, they weren't born that way. 94% of rich people were not born that way. I repeated that. They earn their wealth and their happiness. So are you ready to start earning yours? I can tell you, I paid my way through college. I graduated with very little money, and I lived like somebody who had very little money. And I had to claw and scratch and fail for several years before I figured out the formula for success. And now I have everything I really want. So these obstacles, they don't have to stop you. I'm giving you a quote right now, a quote by Michael Jordan. He's got 3 quotes I want to cover with you real quick. Obstacles don't have to stop you, Michael Jordan. If you run into a wall, don't turn around and give up, Michael Jordan. Figure out how to climb it, go through it, or work around it, Michael Jordan. He's not just the GOAT. His image is on the shirt of everybody else who thinks they're the GOAT. How'd you like to be in that position? People say, hey, I'm the GOAT, but the real GOAT is actually right on their shirt. That's commitment. Now, let's talk about breaking the patterns of behavior that hold you back. Newton's law of motion basically says that an object in motion tends to stay in motion. If your life is going in the wrong direction, it's going to keep going in that direction until you stop and do something about it. That requires breaking your old ineffective patterns and developing new ones. A personal example, I saw a picture of myself about 15 years ago without a shirt on, and I wasn't happy with what I saw. So I began to change my diet slowly, and I got myself into the gym. And it took a long time, a lot of force of will to create the new habit of going to the gym and eating better. Used to love Oreos, loved Oreos, stopped eating them by force of will. About 6 months later, a bag of Oreos showed up in the office, and I went and decided, it's been 6 months. I think I can indulge and have one. And I did. And it was so disgusting, I spit it out. I couldn't stand it anymore. Why? Because I changed my mindset, and my mindset had actually changed how I perceived the taste of something that really, frankly, wasn't very good for me to start with. So you really can't control it. So how do you get around the people you want to hang with? Okay. You want to start acting and behaving like the people you want to hang with, because our network is our net worth. We've talked about in the past. You need to turn I should have into I will or I am. When you realize that you should have done something different to get to your desired goal, that is a signal to your brain that you have to change a pattern of behavior that led to that poor decision. For example, let's assume you're in a situation and you lose your control and you start arguing with somebody else and you realize afterwards, geez, I shouldn't have lost control of my behavior. That's a signal to your brain, to your mindset, that you need to say, next time I will maintain control of my behavior instead of losing control of my behavior. It's often as something as simple as that, changing from I should have to I will or I am. Again, you're actually chemically changing how your neurons are firing inside your brain, how you think about things, and that's going to manifest itself in how you talk, how you behave around other people. You need to get rid of your problems. Problems are often really just distractions that only serve to drain you of your creative energy and actually overwhelm you. How many people do you know have been overwhelmed by their problems? How does that benefit them? Do you see them achieving success when they're overwhelmed by their problems? I certainly haven't. They make you focus on where you are rather than where you want to go. Focusing on your problems, you just get caught in this pit of despair instead of figuring out a way to crawl out of that pit and get on with your life. When you focus on your problems, you can't focus on solutions. Again, mindset change. Thinking of problems as problems is really just half the problem. But seriously, instead of thinking them as problems, reset them in your mind as a challenge, an opportunity for you to grow your skill and your focus, which will allow you to focus on your goals versus your obstacles. No one wants to focus on the bad things in life. So when you focus on your goals versus your obstacles, it's also going to make you a much happier person. And those challenges, challenging yourself like that, is actually going to be something that brings out the best in you. Think of mistakes as a way to hone your craft. As long as you own your mistake, as long as you learn from your mistake, each mistake you make is going to make you more and more valuable to yourself, to your friends, to those that you have extremely close personal relationships with. Your knowledge, your skills, your craft, all of them expand. So I want you to embrace the wealth building power of owning your mistakes and embracing your mistakes as part of who you are. I want you to focus on the right things more than anything else. Focus represents the key to success. If you focus on all the reasons something can't or won't happen, then it won't. Winners focus on where they're going, not where they've been. They focus on where they're going and what they need to do to get there versus all the obstacles in their way. Where focus goes, your energy flows. Focus on the problem, that's where your energy is going to be. Focus on the solution, that's where your energy is going to be. What you focus on expands your life. If you're not getting what you want out of life, shifting your focus on something more in alignment with where you want to go is going to get you there faster than anything else. When you get the wrong results, you need to identify what you did to earn those unwanted results, take ownership of those, and the next time the pattern emerges and you see it, simply tell yourself, this is an old pattern. I am changing to a new pattern to achieve my goals. Again, this is an old pattern that I am changing to achieve my goals. You'll have to consciously and actively behave differently for a while. It's going to take force of will. When I wanted to change the way I looked without a shirt on, it took 9 months of forcing myself to go to the gym 5 times a week. Took 2 days a week off, and it was awful, right? It's never fun to change a habit, especially in your mid-40s. But I did it, and after 9 months, it became a habit. So I focused on the positive, I focused on the goals, and I got where I wanted to go. If you don't focus on changing the undesirable behavior for a new one, then the old pattern is simply just going to return. New patterns are essentially habits and take months of conscious effort to engage in to effectively replace old patterns. I can tell you that from personal experience. This puts you in charge of your destiny, of your mindset, without blowing the circumstances of the moment. And you do want to be in charge of your life, don't you? Here's an example. Here's an ineffective pattern. After an unsuccessful sales call, taking a break to console yourself and have your own personal little pity party. That's really not doing you any good. You might be thinking, well, I just need a mental break. I'm tired of all these no's. Well, boo hoo hoo. Change your attitude, change your mindset, and you'll actually change the results of your calls. That new effective pattern, as soon as you have a negative phone call, pick up the phone immediately again and make the next sales call. Force yourself to do that, and you'll start to see much better results. You are not the mistakes of your past. You are the resources and the capabilities that you've gleaned from them. That's a quote from Jordan Belfort. And I'm going to leave you with a quote from an unknown speaker. Good decisions come from experience, and experience comes from bad decisions. That's a meme running around the web that I love. Good judgment comes from experience, and experience comes from bad judgment. That's my favorite version of it. Anyway, this has been Deep Recruiting. I hope you've gotten something out of this today. I hope you've gotten a little motivated, maybe more motivated than you were when you started this. Hopefully you're running this at 1.5 or even double speed so you can get through it a little bit quicker and get back to your day. This has been Deep Recruiting. Please leave us a review, a comment, a share. We'd love to hear your feedback. We'd love to hear from you on challenges you're facing. Email us at deeprecruiting@teamgtn.com. It's in the notes of the show so that you have it right there. It's available to you. Your feedback is exactly what we need to hear. Have a great week, everybody. Make it absolutely spectacular and fantastic. And share your successes with us. Actually, that's an idea. We should start each week with a success from one of our viewers. Have a great week, everybody. Take care.